Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Emerald City Sports, the podcast. For me, it is in Florida. And for Josh, you can see the sun's still out, which means he's still in Washington. We've got a lot of stuff to get to. Seattle sports is starting to pick up the pace again now that most of the major sports are getting back into it. Let's start off, Josh, with the Seattle Mariners, who, as of this recording, had a little bit of a hot streak right there. They went 8 games in a row winning until they eventually sputtered to the AL leading or Baltimore Orioles. But in that 8 game win streak, man, we saw some amazing performances from the Mariners overall. Josh, what was your reaction to the way the Mariners played? How smooth things? Should I say smooth? I'll just say it. How smooth things went during this 8 game stretch.
Um, I don't think it went as smoothly as you think. I don't think we were as
Yeah.
dominant actually, but we just got very very lucky in the late innings. We were able to clutch up in the ninth inning, especially because we went on that win streak immediately after we sent Paul Sewald to the Diamondbacks, where he just recorded his first save, I think, yesterday.
Yep.
But I think we just got very, very lucky, and then the two Oriole losses that just ended our win streak was because of both extra inning losses in the 10th, and we couldn't capitalize. And we're just back to the same old Mariners. We just couldn't capitalize on another complete game by George Kirby.
Hey,
It's
we
just
had
the
it.
same old Mariners.
Yeah. We had to do it in honor of Felix weekend, though, you know? Amazing pitching plus no run support equals loss. They had to do it in honor of Felix, you know? It had to make sense. But then also because, the Orioles are a pretty dang good team. They're they are the top team in the AL right now. So the fact that we were able to push them to 10 innings in 2 games is actually not that bad considering how good they are. And but then also the one game we beat against them, we whooped them. We won 9-2. So I I want to look on the bright side here. It's like it's 2 games lost. We're still fine. We are still what 9 games above 500. Um, I would look on the bright side here. We face a very tough Orioles team with an amazing bullpen, by the way, and to be able to last 10 innings in 2 games with them and then destroy them in another game. I would say that's pretty impressive. Josh, which players have stood out to you a lot throughout this stretch?
It has to be the new. What did you say? Something?
No.
Oh, sorry. It definitely has to be the new players received from the Paul Sewald trade. Um, Dominic Canzone hitting a clutch homer in that first or it was the second 10 inning loss in the bottom of the ninth inning to save it to the 10th. And Josh Rojas as well. Oh no, sorry, it was Josh Rojas that hit the home run. Canzone has been actually hitting pretty well with the Mariners throughout the
I
stretch.
thought it was Canzone that hit the home run.
Was it Canzone or
I
Rojas?
believe
I
it
don't
was
know.
Canzone. I just remember seeing his bat flip. I think that's how I remember.
Oh yeah,
It was the bat flip, yeah. The one where he like absolutely destroyed it to the Hit It Here cafe and he just threw the bouncer down. That was pretty sweet. But keep on going with Josh Rojas.
yeah. But both players have been. I mean, Josh wasn't very good in that first part of the stretch, but has gotten pretty good and started to fit into the lineup for the Mariners and have given them more depth options on who to put in the outfield. Now, a lot of questions. You could put Haggerty, you could put Moore, you can put Cade Marlowe, who's been
Hey,
amazing
yes.
since he got called up. Canzone, Rojas. There's a lot of options, a lot of lineups you can make now.
And now the Mariners are on the outside looking in from the wild cards, but they are very, very close, right? Currently, as of this recording, it is 1.5 games, but the Mariners are playing right now. Um, Only 1.5 games behind. They really have plenty of time to pull off um, a way to sneak back into the wild card. But hey, who knows? I mean, we still actually have a shot. We could honestly win the division if we wanted to. We're still not too far behind, I would say. Let me check here. Yeah, we're only 6.5 games behind, I believe. So I mean, there's
We
still
have lost ground
we have though, yeah.
before the winning streak.
Hey, 6.5 games though. It can happen. It can happen. We have a shot. But I mean, a nice thing though is we basically started the demise of the LA Angels. At this point, I mean, you can tell Otani is absolutely done with the Angels. He just wants to leave. And to be able to be the reason why we kind of started this. We kind of started the Angels losing streak once a year, I mean, every single year. We did it this year. We started it. So it's pretty nice to see them. I mean, that's one competition out of the way. Now we still got a few more obstacles to go. And then hopefully we can sneak into the playoffs. I will say though, it's kind of funny how we started picking things up after Jared Kelnick kicked and broke his foot on a cooler. That's kind of a weird way to get motivation, but if it works, it works. So yeah, the Mariners really close to getting a wild card spot right now, but they still got plenty of time. Maybe get another win streak going, but as long as they just get series win after series win, I think they should be fine. Josh, coming into this, stretch, September's coming up. What are you looking for in this Mariners squad?
I think for the Mariners, they need to capitalize on the games that they have specifically in this month, because as soon as you head into September, the final 3 series of the year, Houston, Texas, I should really know. Either it's one of the two again, but you play against top 2 division opponents to end the year, and you need to gain ground now. We'll play Houston this month as well, to try to win the division, because getting, especially since the AL obviously it's going to be the AL Central that's going to Division One that's going to have to play against in Wild Card Weekend. So if we win the division, we could get the bye and go straight to the ALDS, which means guaranteed Seattle playoff games. But that starts by trying to win as many games from the Royals as we can from the Athletics, like taking these easy games. Well, easy games as in we can't win a game against Salvador Perez in the 35 win Royals.
And another thing they could work on, I mean, last year we noticed so many close games they were able to pull off a victory. This year it has been kind of the opposite, where they've ended up losing the games. We saw it in those 2 final games against the Orioles, where it came down to the bottom of, I mean, to the 10th inning, and then they lost it. So I mean, they could in this final stretch, they just got to stay clutch, try not to swing for home runs every single time, and then it could be better. I mean, you don't need to go for the fences every single time. It could just be base hit after base hit after base hit, and you'll be okay.
But I think that's what Julio's been doing recently. It's just either home run or bust, and it's
that has been
not
his
working.
problem for a long time, and a lot of fans are getting tired of it right now. His swings are just shoot for the moon or strike out, and it's been
He's just too used to the Derby.
yeah, and it has really been getting to the nerves of a lot of fans. A lot of fans have been complaining a lot. Um, but I mean, hopefully he notices what his mistakes are and he will fix it up. I mean, there's some other players in here that kind of have question marks on them, like Ty France, for example. Um, has not been great this year at all. But I mean, he has started to pick it up again, which is a little better. But there's still some room for improvement there. I mean, JP is hurt now, which kind of sucks, as he is a big. He's basically the core of our roster. And him gone might throw a wrench into the mentality of the players. But we'll see what happens there. Josh,
I think it's only a week though.
it
It's
is only
only
a
a
week.
concussion. It's only a week, and it could spark another Jared Kelnick like run.
Ah, jeez. We'll see if we can get another win streak in. I mean, the Mariners really are cutting it close this time. But you know what? What is it being a Seattle fan without having a few heart attacks? Which leads up. I mean, hey, I mean that's a kind of a good transition because we're now leading into another Seattle team who loves giving us heart attacks, and that is the Seattle Seahawks. Yep, the Seattle Seahawks are back in town. Just finished. I'm not. Why did I say just finished? They finished their first preseason game against the Vikings in a solid 24-13, very stereotypical NFL score win. Obviously, you didn't get to see the starters much. But Drew Lock played well. I mean, Josh, what's your reaction to this game?
Um, my well, it was a hard time watching the game if you didn't know. King 5 was such horribly,
Yeah,
and they kept
yeah,
on
I
having
heard.
TV interruptions at the start of the game, in between on a fourth down play. Um, and then that first half, same old Mariners down.
Mariners.
Um, Just not the Mariners. I turned into the referee last year. Same old Seahawks. That we've basically been seeing, but from just the lower string players. Just got run over, and the pocket collapsed super quickly that Drew Lock couldn't get any passes off at all. And then in the defense, just run over, and it was just a horrible half. But then get to the second, Drew Lock just goes on fire. Um, I think that's really it. Like I didn't see any big star moments. JSN wasn't. I mean,
Too
didn't have
involved.
much of a role. He wasn't. I didn't think I saw enough of him to really see how he could fit into this lineup.
Yeah, I mean, the first and the last preseason games are usually for roster spot fighting. Hopefully, the second game we'll get to see a little bit of the starters. But I mean, what do you say about? I mean, Drew Lock, even with the one interception, I mean, he was pretty solid out there. He played pretty well. I mean, amazing touchdown pass through what like 2, 3 Vikings, um, and I mean, if anything happens to Gino, I mean, I feel like I would trust Drew Lock, especially since he was playing with what backups. If you throw him in the lineup and he has DK Metcalf or Lockett or JSN in there, feel like he would do a little bit better. But then again, at the same time, defense is a first string defense, so we'll see what happens with Drew Lock there. He seems pretty solid.
Can we start the talks? Do you think talks of Drew Lock replacing Geno Smith will happen? Do you think Drew Lock in the future could become the main QB of the Seahawks?
I feel like yeah, Gino is getting up there in age. He's what 30 something now. So after this contract, I mean, I don't know what the Seahawks will do with him. If he continues playing solid in this contract, maybe they'll resign him for a couple more years. But if he's like or if he's getting up there in age, possibly gets injured or something, yeah, I would say I wouldn't mind Drew Lock in there for maybe like a transition quarterback, kind of like Tavares Jackson. Like we said last year, we were expecting Gino to be a Tavares Jackson type of guy, where we just kind of
Yeah.
let him play for a year. But then now that he popped off, I mean, we kind of had to keep him. Once Gino's out, I feel like Drew Lock would be a transition guy again until we draft another guy. But I mean, there's a chance he could pull a Gino too, where he all of a sudden pops off. He's still a young guy, so I still think he has, a chance to make it big. He really did not get a great chance in Denver. The coaching staff there is just absolutely awful. So yeah, he does deserve a chance. I mean, if we don't want to re-sign Gino once he gets up there in age, I wouldn't mind seeing Drew Lock again. Especially with the starters, especially with great weapons like Metcalf, JSN. Eventually, who knows if Tyler Lockett will still be here, but I mean he's got a good solid group of guys to throw to. And I mean, the running back core is pretty nice too if he ever wants to hand the ball off. So I think he'll be fine. I feel like if it does happen where we have to get to there, then yeah, screw it. Put Drew Lock in there. I think the 12s have faith in him now, unless he lays an egg in the next couple preseason games. What about Jake Bobo though? I mean, I've been hearing his name a lot. Um, Training camp, a lot of people were saying, "Hey, Jake Bobo's pretty good." And then now in this game, I mean, he played pretty solid. 3 catches, 55 yards, and a touchdown. So I mean, he is making a name for himself out there. Um, could be a pretty solid depth guy if we ever need, especially since D. Eskridge is now suspended, which is great.
Yeah, that's
Um, yeah, that's not something you want to see. But I mean, Jake Bobo, he could be a solid depth guy in there if you need a special teamer. He's right there. You need a punt returner. He's right there. I mean, you never know. You never know. Though Jacob did say, I believe he mentioned that at the mock game, JSN was taking punt return duties, which is interesting. I mean, I wouldn't mind
mm,
seeing that since he's the number 3 guy. But at the same time, like I don't want to risk injury with that guy. That is just too risky. I mean, he is coming out of college with an injury, so I wouldn't want to see another one happen to him trying to field in a punt. Um, Josh, I mean, well, we got to talk about the defense too. I mean, Kobe Bryant.
yep.
Would you prefer him as a safety or keep him in like a nickelback area? Because he was playing a little bit of safety there. He had that humongous hit. Played pretty solid.
Yeah, that was a really cool hit to watch live. Though I think after it looked like a helmet to helmet hit, sort of
Yeah,
hit kind of thing.
he's got that Cam Chancellor kind of vibe in him. Hard hitter, doesn't really care what happens. But yeah, he was a little tough there. He was a little tough there. Do you?
I think
Yeah,
yeah, I see him at safety. I think if he has the speed to be able to, which I mean, obviously he does, and in the hard hittingness, he could be a big threat for those big wide receivers that are probably gonna he'll have to cover because they're too good. Um, so let's see who do we got at safety again? Quandre Diggs,
Diggs and Jamal.
Diggs and Jamal. I mean,
If Jamal goes
and
down again, I
well,
will
yeah,
be
obviously, I
so
think that's
heated.
the perfect place to put him in. But
Yeah, you can put him there.
I don't know if we can break up the duo though.
Yeah. I mean, that secondary is looking pretty stacked right now. Like, what you got? You have Diggs, you have Jamal, you got Tariq, you got Witherspoon, you got Mike Jack, and then you have Kobe. I mean, it's a pretty solid group. I mean, if you need like, I don't know if Witherspoon will be a starting corner. I mean, because Michael Jackson has been a solid corner for a very good couple of seasons, I believe. And so, I
Yep.
mean, and Devin Witherspoon took forever with that contract. So I don't know. We have not seen enough of him to be able to put him in that starting position. So him and Kobe would probably be nickel dime guys and just like replacement secondary if it ever comes to third and long and stuff. Um, Devin Bush. Devin Bush. Think he can take off that bust label that a lot of people are listing him as right now?
But can you say that again?
Devin Bush. Um, I mean, a lot of people have been listing him as a bust for his
Mm,
performance with the Steelers. Do you think he can wipe that bust label off? I mean, he was not bad um, in the first preseason game.
I think he could because I feel like this Seahawks defense is hungry. We got everybody's looking to finally lock down that run defense, and then we could turn into some Legion of Boom 2.0. That's all we need. Hungry after choking so many points to the 49ers. I think Pete and John pick out like these great guys that could hunt for it, and I think Devin Bush would be part of that and be part of that squad.
And a lot of people mentioned that Boye Mafe was pretty good at that. I mean, the stat line doesn't show that, but he was really all over the place in the first game. So, I mean, he we haven't seen too much of him, but then I mean he's still growing at the same time. I mean remember it took Daryl Taylor a long time to grow too. We might see the same thing with Boye Mafe. So I mean he is starting to grow up there. Part of that really stacked draft class from last year. Um, I mean we could see him show out in the next couple of preseason games. Um, who else? Who else has been pretty good? Prayers up to Kay Johnson, by the way. I mean rough injury, you really don't want to see that. Hopefully he comes back. I mean, he has been a solid guy on the team for a good couple of seasons now. I mean, you never want to see that happen to anybody. Hopefully he comes back. I mean, he is a great player. Solid guy. Depth. Yeah. Solid depth player. Oh my gosh. Depth player. All right. I mean, you got two more preseason games here. I believe one against the Cowboys, one against the Packers. And then from there, that point on, it's go time. I mean, you got the regular season starting soon. It's gonna be really interesting. Josh, do you expect the starters to get a few reps in the Cowboys or the Packers game?
I don't know. This preseason, I think it's gonna be just a bunch of people fighting for spots. I think I'm just like maybe put the stars in to determine who is going to be the starter because there's a lot of people,
Yeah,
a lot of defense moving parts, try to fit in everybody
we
to
gotta see.
possibly, but I
Yeah,
don't see it.
I mean, we need to see JSN with this first team. I mean, I know he's gotten good amount of reps at training camp, but we need to see him like out there with the other first stringers, like against a first string defense. And then maybe yeah. I mean, have Witherspoon and Mike Jack kind of battle out. I mean, we didn't see Witherspoon much, but if he shows up during preseason games, there's a chance that he could actually take that starting spot from Mike Jack. But we'll see what happens. I mean, the Seahawks looking like a promising team right now. You will see what happens to them as the preseason continues. Now, Josh, we go to the world of what do you want me to say, soccer or football?
Soccer.
All right, I'll say soccer. Man, oh man. Um, want to talk about Sounders or do you want to talk about the Women's World Cup?
Let's talk about the women's World Cup because Sounders just finally last week before they finally get back in the MLS season against Atlanta United. I think I already kind of talked about that. Oh, I talked about my own channel, Emerald City Sports. Cool.
Link in the
Plug it
description.
in. Yeah, nothing to it there. But the Women's World Cup, man. 2 a.m. Pacific start time. Though you actually had a decent time at 5 a.m. over in Florida to watch. Well, I don't think you watched it, but
I did not even low key. No, I didn't even realize the Women's World Cup was on. I'm sorry. Cancel me. I'm sorry. My bad.
yeah.
Keep on going, Josh. I mean, round of 16 of elimination is just rough for a team that had such high expectations. Everyone had them winning. So what happened?
What happened was a combination of we can't score the ball because our passing sucks, and then a bunch of bad roster decisions. Um, I mean, near the end though, you got Megan Rapinoe comes into the game, mostly for extra time, but then takes over for all the free kicks, free kicks, corner kicks, all the um passing stuff. But then her passes just go low. She isn't able to heave the ball over on top of over the defenders that we could have a chance to head the ball in, and just stops flat. And coach doesn't realize it. No one else is gonna take it. And Rapino also not running as fast and just missing crucial plays. I mean, one where she just overruns the ball as it passes right behind her that could have led to a goal because in a scoreless game that lasted 120 minutes, every attempt you have could change the game, and the U.S. couldn't do that. And then penalty kicks is just a toss up. And then Rapino again missed her penalty kick as well as two others, and even the U.S. coach chose to put in the goalkeeper to kick 6.
That threw me off for a second. I was watching the highlights. I'm like, what is the goalkeeper doing? But she scored. So
Yeah,
feeling the
she
goalkeeper
put in the penalty kick. Rapinoe over the crossbar.
shanked it. It was like a field
Shanked
goal. She forgot she was playing the wrong football. She
NFL kicker Megan Rapinoe.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
I feel like the goalie they just made her work non-stop. Jeez, like all those penalty kicks she had to save, and then she had to kick her own, and she made it. I mean, props to the goalkeeper. What's her name? Alyssa Naher.
Yeah, Naher.
Yeah, I mean, props to her. I mean, amazing performance, and to be that close. I mean, they were like centimeters away. Um, what? They were like this close to stopping the goal, and it was
took
and
the
they
goal
barely got it.
technology
That was
thing.
crazy. The technology really showed. That was just so in depth. I'm like, geez, that is insane how close that was. But man, I mean, out in the round of 16 just really has to hurt. That is not the way you want to go out, especially for a team with that high expectations.
It was just a disappointing World Cup as well. I mean,
you know what? Like they barely squeezed out of a win with Vietnam. Hey, Vietnam. We're Vietnamese.
Only a draw against the Netherlands.
Yeah. And to be celebrating after that too, like were they like dancing around or something
they
like that?
were celebrating after the draw to Portugal to advance to the round of 16,
okay.
but not as the group winners because Netherlands beat Portugal. So that's why we had to play against Sweden, who is actually the 3rd ranked team in the world. And we blew it.
Jeez. That is something you just don't want to see. Man, that stings for the women's team. I mean, they came in favorites and then just a disappointing performance overall. I mean, I know you're pretty pissed off about it, Josh. I think a lot of America might be pissed off. How about we talk a little bit of fantasy here, since we got a little bit of time. Our league with the rest of the boys from sports broadcasting camp. Josh, you've been making a lot of trades. First off, Josh and I had a little bit of a trade here, where I got Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He got Raheem Mostert, right? I will say this. Okay, I did not want to trade Raheem Mostert first, but Josh was just he was trying so hard to get Raheem Mostert. He kept testing. He's like, I got a lot of evidence here, Josh. I mean, I got a lot of evidence here, Martin. And then I fell for it, and then I just did not think. I did not think. That's so dumb. So I told Josh, I'm like, okay, you know what? If Raheem Mostert does better than Clyde Edwards-Helaire for the first 3 weeks, then I get him back. But, I mean, other than that, I got fleeced. Other than that, though, my lineup does not look bad, okay? Josh, I'll read my lineup first, then you read yours, okay?
Okay.
I got Geno Smith at QB, Josh Jacobs, Joe Mixon at running back. Wide receivers a little bit questionable here. I got Scary Terry McLaurin and Juju Smith-Schuster. Darren Waller at tight end. Keep in mind this is an 18-man league, by the way. So don't be surprised if you don't know half these guys. Sky Moore at flex. Although, for some I don't know. I feel like I should just put Taysom Hill in there as a joke because sometimes Taysom Hill just absolutely goes off. Like, it can be any week. I might put Taysom Hill in there just because. And then Broncos defense, and then my boy Harrison Butker at kicker. And then my bench is, I have Brock Purdy, though. So, whatever. All right, Josh. Tell me your lineup.
So, unlike Martin, I actually have people on my bench and my
I
starters.
have people you know.
Sure, cool. Dak Prescott at quarterback.
Oh, interception.
Alvin Cook. Jonathan Taylor. Jamar Chase. Garrett Wilson. Gerald Everett. Tyler Lockett. The Chiefs defense, and Cameron Dicker for my kicker.
Dicker the kicker. Okay.
And then for my bench, the least known person Luke Musgrave, former Oregon State alum, obviously. Jahan Dotson, James Cook, Ryan Tannehill, Both
You have both the Cook brothers?
Yeah.
Dang, okay, that's kind of cool.
Both Miami running backs in Raheem Mostert and Jeff Wilson Jr. And then Alex Collins, rest in peace to him.
Yes. I mean, Josh, your team is actually kind of solid. I'm not even gonna lie. I don't know how you're projected to be last, but
18-1, baby. 18 to
you,
1.
yeah. This is an 18-man league, guys. This is wild. Um, the team that is um projected to be first is Max's team, by the way. So let me just read out Max's squad right now. She's got Josh Allen, James Conner, Samaje Perine. I think is it Perine or Perine? I don't remember.
I don't know.
CeeDee Lamb, Deontay Johnson, Evan Ingram, Rondale Moore, Steelers defense, Graham Gano. And then his bench is, that's KJ Osborne, Rasheed Rice, Jameson Williams, who's suspended, Chase Brown, Jimmy G, Isaiah Spiller, and Logan Thomas. I mean he's projected first, guys. I feel like your lineup might be better than his. Okay, actually, let's just go through all the guys right now. There's 18 of them. Let's just go through them really quick. And all right.
Real? Oh shoot! Are we gonna go through everybody? We should do a whole episode. We have time. We should do a whole episode of covering everybody's fantasy teams.
Exactly. All right, Langston's team. He's got Bill Cosby at QB. Okay, you guys know who Bill Cosby. You know who I'm talking about. I'm talking about Deshaun Watson, of course. Antonio Gibson at running back. Travis A. I'm gonna say Achen. It's just easy that way. Travis Achen Jr. Also Chris Godwin, Cortland Sutton, Mike Gesicki, the gritty legend. He's got Chris Olave, Bucks defense, Tyler Bass, Alvin Kamara, who's also suspended. Devon Ack. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce that name. Pure Strong. Dude, see, with that, the problem with an 18-man league is that it's so hard to just you don't even know half the guys. Malik Davis, Irv Smith, and Kyler Murray. So I mean, Lazy's team is kind of solid. Not gonna lie. Any thought about that? I mean, he's also got a suspended guy in Alvin Kamara. Wasn't Alvin Kamara suspended for what? What was it again? He punch a guy at a bar or something like that?
Yeah, but only 3 to 6 weeks. So it's a gamble. I think it's just a gamble. It's not like, oh, I'm just gonna put a suspended there, waste the bench spot like me here and Alex Collins. But it's actually kind of a weird gamble where you'll miss the early part of the season and you'll have to take an extra week off for his bye week. And hope he'll put up enough fantasy points.
I will say, some of these team names are kind of out of pocket. All right. Owen, his team name is Miami Dolphins Concussion Room. Ugh. All right. Justin Herbert, Austin Eckler, Najee Harris, Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, Tyler Higbee. I believe that's, Jerick McKinnon, Dolphins, and Daniel Carlson. He's got Dante Foreman, Curtis Samuel, Marvin Mims, Zonovan Knight, Wandale Robinson, Marvin Jones Jr., and Kendrick Bourne. He had a theme here. I mean, he had Herbert and Eckler from the Chargers. You got Deebo and Ayuk from San Fran. The big positions, he just grabbed them from the same team. We'll see how that works out for him, because sometimes, for example, Eckler going off might mean Herbert doesn't get enough points. Deebo getting the ball a lot might mean Ayuk doesn't get the ball a lot. So that is kind of the gamble right there. We'll see what happens. I'm not even gonna read Miggy's team name. That is just weird. But Miggy's team is Kirk Cousins, Alexander Madison, Brian Robinson Jr., Devontae Adams, Jalen Waddle, George Kittle, Darnell Mooney, Cowboys, Jake Elliott, Chase Claypool, Robert Woods, Derek Carr, Commanders defense. So he has 2 defenses. Jalen Hyatt, Darius Slayton, and Travis Homer. Um, he also had a theme here. I mean, Kirk and Madison, QB and running back. Um, he has two New York Giants receivers on the bench in Hyatt and Slayton. Um, so I mean, I guess the question here is QB and running backs. If Kirk throws a lot, Madison won't get a lot unless he just keeps throwing Alexander Madison
Yeah,
every
the
time.
QB running back thing just doesn't work in fantasy football for those reasons stated there. And then you add in a bye week in an 18-man league where you
Yeah.
have to pick up a quarterback and a running, and you have to replace a quarterback and a running back in the same week. It's tough.
Yeah. All right. Team Olave Garden. That is Avery. He's got Daniel Jones, Brees Hall. Interesting. Damian Pierce, George Pickens, Michael Gallup, Travis Kelsey. He picked Travis Kelsey number 5, by the way, which is actually that's in the 18-man league probably the best option. Um, Isaiah Pacheco, Eagles D, and Greg Zerline, and then he's got Kendry Miller, Jonathan Mingo, Ty Jake. Man, this is so hard in an 18-man league. Michael Carter, Nicole Hardman, Corey Davis, Braxton Berrios. So I mean, Daniel Jones at QB, I guess it could work. Brees Hall's the big question here because he is hurt. Though he did pick up Michael Carter though, so if Brees Hall doesn't make it in time for Week 1, he's got his backup sitting right there on the bench. He picked a lot of New York Jets. He picked Nicole Hardman and Corey Davis also. I guess he's hoping that
Or Jets. That's too much. I think that's too much. And then the Kelsey move at 5, using your top pick in a 18-man league on a tight end. So, yes, great. You get a big tight end. You win the tight end position almost every single time. Just the thing is that everybody else is mediocre on that tight end position, but then they are loading up these they are on these big points in running backs and wide receivers, which by then you just lose out. You won't be able to fill up those running backs and wide receivers slots as good as other teams. In there's 2 running back slots and 2 wide receiver slots, and you're better off getting 2 decently good wide receivers than Travis Kelsey, a good wide receiver, or a good wide receiver running back, and then ended up having a horrible running back and wide receiver instead of just having a mediocre tight end just like everybody else and not really affecting the game. You're not losing anything by waiting to pick up the tight end. You're not losing as much points as you would a running back and wide receiver, which can get you a lot of points.
But I mean, in an 18-man league, I feel like at some point Kelsey was going to get picked in the first round. So I feel like that was the best option at that point because someone would steal it. But we'll see how Travis Kelsey does this year. Let's see, where are we at? Justin's team is Jalen Hurts, Nick Chubb, Rashad Penny, Calvin Ridley, JSN, um, Chigoziem Ocon. Oh gosh, I feel horrible. Tight end.
I love how you're the one pronouncing the names and I just get to sit here.
Okay. Michael Thomas, Packers D, Matt Gay, Jacoby Myers, Harris Campbell, Cordell Patterson, Kenneth Gainwell, Donovan Peoples Jones, Tank Dell, and I don't know why, but he has Chris Carson on there, even though Chris Carson's retired. So I mean, Jalen Hurts at QB is a great option. Rashad Penny is interesting, but he did pick up Gainwell just in case Rashad gets injured, which I feel like is a violation, but we've seen it happen every year, so he's just being very, very careful, you know. JSN, Calvin Ridley, kind of solid right there. Calvin Ridley set for a big bounce back year after getting suspended the entire other year for betting. Lots of betting suspensions now. We got Will's team. He's got Mahomes, K9, David Montgomery, T. Higgins. I believe that's, yeah, DJ Moore, Cole Kmet, Elijah Moore, Bengals D, Justin Tucker. And then he's got Chuba Hubbard, CJ Stroud, Kyron Williams, Zach Ertz, Cara Santos,
Oh man, this
um,
team's stacked.
Ty Chandler, and then Panthers defense. So he's got two defenses in there, but man, that team is pretty dang good. You got Mahomes, obviously the MVP, K9. Although he is injured, he is set to, I mean, be still solid this year. DJ Moore showed a lot of promise in that first preseason game, but he's
He's
also
more of
got
a
Cole
boom or
Kmet.
bust type of guy, though. He's more of a DJ Moore's more of a letdown kind of guy.
Yeah, that's true.
And K9 might either K9 is a huge risk due to the fact that he could be injured, or especially in the Seahawks offense, or split snaps with Charbonnet or Dallas.
All right, Henry's team got Broncos country. Let's ride, Russell Wilson. He also has Jamal Williams, who moved to the Saints. He's got Zach Charbonnet. He's got Cooper Kupp. He's got DK. He's got TJ Hawkinson, OBJ, Saints, Eddie Pinheiro, Hollywood Brown. Even though isn't Hollywood like he had an ACL tear, right?
I think so.
He's got Rashad Bateman, Tank Bigsby. Why are there so many people named Tank? Jerome Ford, Devontae Parker, Ronald Jones, who is also suspended, and Kate Otten. So, I mean, I feel like Russell Wilson might actually be a sleeper pick this year because he is. I will say, Russ is set for a bounce back season this year. He's got Sean Payton now.
Viewers, it's time for Martin's Russell Wilson train because he picked him on his other fantasy team.
Yeah, I reached though. Like I picked him like 3 rounds too early.
You reached on Russell Wilson?
I don't want
You
to
really
talk
think
about
Sean
it, okay?
Payton is gonna do him so well?
I had the
Does he have
worst luck
Jerry
in the other
Jeudy?
draft because I was gonna pick Jerry Jeudy because it's like a 12-man league, right? All the good guys were taken so fast. I was about to pick Jerry Jeudy, and then right when I was gonna pick him, my phone died. And when I got back into the draft, I ended up with Brees Hall. Brees Hall. Yeah, I'm getting last in that league. And the punishment in that other league is pretty bad. It's like bad. I don't know. This considering either ruining bingo night, standing on the side with a sign, or what else was there? I don't know. The punishments are bad. But
I think that Judy Hall thing might actually go. Oh, okay. It was gonna go well because Judy's horrible until Dalvin Cook signed with the Jets. Now the pick is absolute garbage.
Yeah, it's great. You find a way to trade that, but I'll worry about that another time. Focusing on the SBC league right now. Henry's team is pretty good. I mean, that wide receiver core is like, I feel like that's a sleeper. I mean, Cup could be back to his old ways this year, but LA is starting to fall. Metcalf, good. OBJ. I mean, we'll see what happens with OBJ. Now we go to Jacob's team here. Jared Goff, Bijan, Stevenson, D Hop, Mike Evans, Njoku, Christian Kirk, Seahawks defense, Matt Prater, Zay Flowers, Tyler Algier. Shoot, I definitely botched that. Hunter Renfro, Juwan Johnson, Chase Edmonds, Kenny McIntosh, Jordan Love.
Hold on, I need to hear that. Wait, I'm gonna hold up. His wide receiver core is washed up DeAndre Hopkins going to Tennessee, risking that. Mike Evans without Tom Brady.
You got Baker
and
Mayfield.
Christian Kirk.
That's a solid group right there. And he's got
No, it isn't.
Zay.
No, it isn't.
I am being very sarcastic. Yeah, that is not a good group. And then Zay Flowers, who was behind OBJ now. Renfro was god awful last year, probably because of Devontae.
Ramondre's under Zeke, or Ramondre has to at least split time with Zeke at the minimum.
Yeah. And is Bijan? I mean, everyone is hyping Bijan like crazy. But is he really gonna show up like that? I don't even know, man. I feel like the hype for Bijan is
I
just
don't
too
know.
much. I feel like Bijan might
And
actually
then
bust.
Jared Goff leading his quarterback room.
I mean, it's either that or Jordan Love. He has to go with Goff there. Goff was kind of solid last year. I'm not even gonna lie. So we'll see there. That is the East Division. So we got 7 more to go because we already mentioned Josh and me. So Jason's group, Jason's squad. It's got Justin Fields, Cam Akers, J.K. Dobbins, Amon-Ra, A.J. Brown, Dalton Schultz, Khalil Herbert, Browns defense, Jason Myers, Quentin Johnson, Jelani Woods, Van Jefferson, Khalil Shakir, Mac Jones, Joshua Kelly, and Falcons defense. I feel like drafting a defense for your bench is just unnecessary. But that's
I
just
think
me.
it's necessary for this league. Defense is pretty well. I think the scoring setting specifically, having the most points be only like 10 points makes it horrible. But I mean, I think having 2 defenses is pretty good instead of. I mean, I think it's okay. I don't think it's as good as stashing a running back in case of injury because that's more likely to happen. Um, but especially since the waiver wire for defenses is um because there's only 18. It's an 18-team league, so most of the defenses are gone,
Yeah.
and I think it could be a big brain move, but it could also go poorly because I think defenses have this boom bust
Yeah.
tendency.
What else? Okay. You already mentioned um Max's team. So let's go over to Micah's team right now. He's got T Law, CMC, um, Jameer Gibbs, Keenan Allen, Drake London, Dalton Kincaid, Alan Lazard, 49ers, Greg Joseph, Elijah Mitchell, Johnson from Chicago, Jaden Reed, Alec Pierce, Russell Gage, Rashid Shaheed, and um, I'm not even gonna try to pronounce his last name, but it's the Cooper Cup ripoff from the Rams. Um, Interesting team. The CMC, I feel like, I mean, in past years that would be considered a risk, but since he was pretty dang good at the back end of the season last year, I feel like he'll be fine with CMC there. Wide receiver room, not bad, I guess.
Not bad.
Not bad, not bad. And then, yeah, I mean, for tight end, I thought Dawson Knox was still their number one.
Maybe not for Buffalo.
Yeah,
I don't know. I think he fell, but I don't know. I don't remember who.
I mean, I don't think he was that great last year, but
Yeah.
that's interesting. All right. Harrison's team, Big Digs. Interesting name. All right. Joe Burrow, A.J. Dillon, Zeke Elliott, who's now a Patriot, Stephon Diggs, Mike Williams, Mark Andrews, Brandon Cooks, Jets defense, Chris Boswell, Adam Thielen, Nico Collins, Hunter Henry, Leonard Fournette, who's a free agent, Sam Howell, Trey McBride, and Tyler Boyd. That team is stacked. I would say that team is
I
stacked.
shipped Zeke over to him. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's fine.
notice that.
For Jeff Wilson Jr.
You've got the entire Miami Dolphins running back group
Yeah,
in your lineup now.
big brain plays.
Interesting. So I mean, AJ Dillon is an interesting choice because he still has to share time with Aaron Jones, right?
Yeah, yes he does.
Then Joe Burrow injury, so that's gonna be interesting. He has a good duo wide receiver and tight end. I mean, Diggs, Williams, Andrews, not a bad trio at all.
Oh
Um,
wow, that's pretty good.
And then his bench, I mean, he still has Thielen, who I believe is the new number one for Carolina, which is probably a good start for him because he ended up going into Justin Jefferson's shadow. So that's
I think it's going to be hard to come out of the shadow, especially now with a brand new QB in
That's
Bryce Young.
true. And then Tyler Boyd too. So Tyler Boyd, a solid receiver for Cincinnati. So I would say he might have the best wide receiver core in this league. Let's see here. Kareem Pies, Tua, Derrick Henry, Tony Pollard, Jerry Jeudy, Christian Watson, Kyle Pitts, Michael Pittman, Patriots, and Young Oku, DJ Chark, Gus Edwards, Tyler Conklin, Kevin Harris, John Mechie, Matt Breida, Hayden Hurst. Interesting squad there. Tua, obviously, injury questions still roaming with him, so that's going to be interesting. Henry would be, that's a solid choice. Tony Pollard now is going to get most of the carries in Dallas. He got Jeudy, he got Christian Watson, and Kyle Pitts. So, not a bad squad either. Let's see here. Seattle Ravens, Max. So he's got Lamar, Aaron Jones, Damian Harris, Tyreek Hill. I believe that's Jordan Addison, Dallas Goedert, MVS, Bills, Evan McPherson, Aaron Rodgers, Tyquan Thornton, Dawson Knox, Bryce Young, Allen Robinson, Chargers, and Amir Abdullah. He's got 3 QBs in there.
Wow.
Interesting. That's a good QB set too. Oh my gosh, Lamar.
But you can only play one QB at a time.
I know. I guess for him, he's going to be like, who's facing the weakest defense this week, and then kind of go from there. But he's got Lamar, Aaron Rodgers, Bryce Young. That is insane. Maybe he should trade me one of his QBs. We'll see.
You're gonna have to pay a lot though. Quarterbacks are a premium.
Yeah,
in this league,
that
especially.
Is true. Then we have Markey, Anthony Richardson, Saquon Barkley, Rashad White, Devontae Smith, Treylon Burks, Pat Freiermuth. I feel like I said that wrong. I am messing up today. DeAndre Swift.
Okay, Martin, you can do it.
Jaguars. Jake Moody of the Niners. You got Devin Singletary, Zay Jones, Michael Mayer, Noah Fant, Jason Sanders, Josh Downs, and Zach Moss. It's got 2 kickers. Interesting. I feel like Anthony Richardson next. Who else does he have at QB? He doesn't have anyone else. It's Anthony Richardson all the way for him, which is an interesting choice. He's a rookie. I feel like he might bust because he's with the Colts. Colts don't have a good track record with QBs. So,
he might get pulled and replaced with Gardner Minshew.
Oh boy, man, that guy just comes out of nowhere every 2 years and pops off. It's hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
And the last one, the Woo Crew. That's a good name, Benjamin. So Matthew Stafford, Miles Sanders, Javonte Williams, which is kind of a question mark, because last year he went down with an ACL. I know that firsthand because he was on my team. That's stung. Justin Jefferson, Amari Cooper, Greg Dulcich, Gabe Davis, Ravens, Brett Maher, the guy famous. Maher's just going to be known for missing 3 field goals or extra points in 4 in a row now. That's all he's going to be remembered for. He's got Kenny Pickett, Jalen Warren, Kadarius Toney, Isaiah Hodgins, Sam Laporta, Kareem Hunt, and the Colts defense. He got Justin Jefferson, so if Justin Jefferson can just carry his team the whole way, I think he'll be fine. Because Matthew Stafford is kind of a question mark right now with his injury last year, just him not playing well last year at all. So that's kind of a question mark there. But that is our 18-man crew. Man, I just hope I don't get lost this year. I don't want to get punished. It's gonna be so sad.
You'll be fine. You'll be fine. Just win like a couple games, and then you can feel positive.
I'm facing Jacob this week. I need to beat Jacob so I can just showboat on him when he comes back on after week 1. That'd be pretty nice. Or if the tables are turned, he can trash talk me. So we'll see what happens with the 18
The fate of this podcast will be decided on the Seahawks Martin versus Jacob week 1 of the NFL regular season. Stay tuned, guys. NFL season 27 days away.
3 cooling days away. Low key, I don't even want to go by Seahawks Martin anymore. I should just change our channel to just be just Emerald City Sports Podcast and be done. Boom.
Oh, gone.
You heard it here first. Maybe. We'll ask the rest of the SBC guys. I don't know. But 18-man league is crazy. Imagine it was a 32-man league. That would just be insane. But, yep. That is the crew. It's going to be wild. Before we end the episode, though, on a serious note, we do want to say rest in peace to Alex Collins, who sadly passed away earlier today. So, obviously, a great Seahawks player, a great Ravens player, known for being a great guy in the locker room, a great guy on the field. So rest in peace, Alex Collins. Fly high up in heaven, and we'll miss you down here. Yeah. That ends our episode. We'll see you guys. NFL season starts soon, so we got a lot to talk about soon. See you guys later.